Hi everyone. Thank you, Gurdeep. Thank you so much. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar, which is on the wash care labeling requirements for two major markets, United States and European Union. So we'll talk about all the details and requirement and how to do the wash care labeling for the textile products in detail. And at the end of the presentation, we'll take questions. My name is Sheikh Minhajuddin. I am a textile graduate and I have experience of 18 years in testing laboratories. Well, so today actually we'll be talking about the wash care label and regulation for European Union and United States. And then we'll be talking about care labeling requirement and standard for European Union and also care labeling requirement for United States. So what is a care label? In generally, it is a common understanding in the industry to consider care label means this particular example as shown in the image, which includes fiber composition, wash care informations, and sometimes it may also include country of origin. But here today we are talking about care label. It actually means in legal term the wash care instruction. So we'll be talking about the wash care instruction requirements for these two major markets today. A care label basically one permanent tag or label which is affixed on the garment or directly printed on the garment with appropriate care information. And it should be legible throughout the life of the usable life of the product. If we look at the regulation for European Union and United States, in European Union, there is no regulatory requirement. Means there is no regulation that mandate a wash care requirement on the textile product. However, there are certain member states, as I have mentioned here, Austria, Czech Republic, Estonia. So these countries actually have their own national deviation or national regulation that requires wash care label to be indicated on the textile product. However, it is an industry practice to use wash care symbols for the textile products using ISO 3758-2012 standard. In United States, there are regulation which is called 16 CFR Part 423, and this regulation actually mandate requirements for care instruction or care labeling for wearing apparel and certain piece goods. So this regulation applies to not all textile products. It is mainly for wearing apparel, that is clothing, and for certain piece goods, that is the fabrics, those are used for the tailor-made clothing. A written instructions or care symbols according to ASTM 5489-96C standard can be used to represent the care instruction for United States. We'll first talk about the requirement for European Union. As I have mentioned, the ISO 3758-2012, that is the standard which is used for care labeling for textile products in European Union. These standards requires care instruction to be indicated by using 5 basic symbols. As I have shown in this presentation, there are 5 symbols: washing, bleaching, drying, ironing, and professional textile cares. And all these 5 symbols should be used in the sequence and together. No symbol should be missing in the label. Let's understand how these symbols and what are the meaning of these symbols. The first symbol is washing. So this tab indicates the washing symbol, and inside the tabs, the temperature are mentioned with the numeric numbers like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or 95 without mentioning the degree Celsius. So only the numbers need to be indicated. That represents the degree Celsius temperature itself. Sometimes a bar, single bar, or double bar is used under the tab to indicate a mild process or very mild process for the washing. So in the example, in the left-hand side, you can see the tab, it includes 40, means the machine was 40 degrees Celsius, and there are two bars at the bottom of the tab. It represents that it is a mild, very mild washing process. The triangle actually represent the bleaching instruction, and if there is nothing is indicated inside the triangle, a blank triangle means any bleaching agent can be used, either chlorine or non-chlorine, whatever available in commercially, that can be used. A cross mark over the triangle represents that it is a do not bleach. That means the bleaching could harm the product. A square, which is the third symbol, it represents the drying, and often we use a circle inside the square. Actually, circle inside the square represent the tumble dry or machine dry. So inside the tumble dry, inside the circle, inside this square, sometimes we also use two dot or single dot to represent the temperature. Two dot or single dot can be used inside the circle. And ironing instruction are also used. A single dot inside the iron, it is represents the cool ironing, which is 110 degrees Celsius, and two dots represent 150 degrees Celsius, that is warm iron, and three dot represents a hot iron, that is 200 degrees Celsius. And if ironing is not safe for any clothing or any iron which could damage the product, in that case, do not iron shall be used, which would be represented by cross marking over the ironing symbol. A circle represents the professional textile care, which is the fifth symbol, and often we use some letter like F, P, or W, which actually represents F means hydrocarbons, P means tetrachloroethylene, as well as solvents for F, that is hydrocarbon. So it means that if P is indicated, that means you can use tetrachloroethylene or any other solvents like hydrocarbon that could be used. Any solvent could be used. And if F is mentioned, that is, it is restricted only with the hydrocarbons. And W inside the circle represents the professional wet cleaning. A single bar under the circle, it represents the mild process. So you can see in the left-hand side, the symbol, picture with example, it represents the professional textiles care with P, which means it can be, any solvent can be used, either hydrocarbon or tetrachloroethylene. Besides these five symbols, any additional wording can be used to inform customers any special instructions or any special warning that is necessary for the particular product, like wash separately. So that means if garment, any garment has a dark color, or if it is washed with other light color garment, it could stain on the other garment. Cross staining could happen. So in that case, wash separately is instruction should be indicated on the care. Or wash with light colors means wash all the similar color multiple product. Maybe one red color shirt can be washed with the red color trousers or other products together. Wash before use often indicated in the wash care instruction to inform that, okay, product at the beginning may have some color issue, but after one wash, it could be safe. Wash inside out often used for some decorative garment or some embellished garment to protect the embellishment and decoration on the garment. So these are the different kind of additional wording that need to be indicated on the care label to inform consumer what kind of care they should take during the washing of such product. How to apply these symbols on the garment? It can be placed on the label. It could be oven label or printed label, and that need to be attached permanently on the garment. Like first top picture left hand side, that yellow garment which has a label attached or stitched on the garment itself. The symbols can also be directly printed on the garment. Like in the second picture, the blue t-shirt, you can find that wash care symbols are directly printed at the center back neck of the t-shirt. Wherever a permanent label cannot be affixed on the product, then information can also be provided on the packaging only. That would also be sufficient. And label and symbol shall be large enough to read by the consumer, and it should be legible throughout the lifetime of the usable life of the garment. A label shall be permanently affixed in such a way that it can be easily located and no part of the symbol is hidden. This means that a label needs to be placed at the place where consumer can easily locate the label during the purchase or at the point of sale. Like in case of a trouser, it could be stitched at the waist area, which could be easily accessible. And in case of shirt, it can be stitched at the side, inside side seam at the bottom side, so which could be easily accessible. Or it can be directly printed at the center back neck, which would be easily accessible. But a label cannot be put inside the pocket, which is generally not actually accessible. A consumer would not look into that particular area. So purpose is that it should be easily accessible by the consumer while they are purchasing a garment or product. There are 5 symbols, as I have mentioned. It should be used together like washing, bleaching, drying, ironing, and professional textile care. And this should be used in this order only. Like in the first example in the top, you can see washing, then do not bleach, then cool iron, single dot, then tumble dry, low temperature, and then do not professional dry clean or do not dry clean. So these symbols are used in the same sequence. So this should be used in this sequence only, and it should not be used any other sequence or order. And often more than one particular symbol can also be used in case of any particular care treatment, like drying. So let's say a garment is not suitable for tumble dry or machine dry, and it is suitable to dry that garment for line dry. So in that case, you have to specify 2 wash care symbol for drying options, like do not tumble dry and line dry. Like you can see this black label at the center in the right hand side. There are total 6 symbols. So first symbol is machine wash at 30 degree, very mild process, then do not bleach, then do not tumble dry, and simultaneously they have given alternative drying option, line dry under shade, then do not iron, do not dry clean. So this should be used in this way. If information is given on any of the main 5 symbols, if no information given, then any treatment can be used. For example, in the last picture at the bottom, you can see in the wash tub, it is completely blank. There is no single dot, there is no temperature is indicated, not 30, 40, nothing is indicated. It means that this product would be washed at any temperature. In such cases, if such garments are received in the laboratory for testing, then maximum temperature according to the standard would be used for testing. Next, we are going to talk about the requirement of United States. So as I have mentioned, that 16 CFR Part 423 is the regulation that mandate requirement for wash care instruction for textile, wearing apparel, and certain piece goods. Other textile products such as home textile, home linen are not regulated under the scope of this regulation. However, it is an industry practice to have these products labeled with wash care information, which is expected by the consumer. So in that case, manufacturer need to follow 16 CFR Part 423. Even these products are not regulated, but if wash care instructions are used for this product, then this regulation need to be followed. And regular care information need to be mentioned. Either washing or dry cleaning must be indicated on the label. A spot, often we have noticed that spot clean are also used for some product, but please note spot clean is not the care information or regular care information according to the 16 CFR part 4 to 3. So care spot clean is not falls under the 16 CFR 4 to 3. A written care instruction in English is required, and care symbols according to ASTM 548996C shall be used. I'd highlight one point here that ASTM 548996C. If you use care symbols according to this particular version of the standard, then written instruction is not required. However, this ASTM 5489 standard has been revised later in 2012. So this is in 2018. So this standard should updated standard should not be used. The updated version of the standard, if used, then again you have to use the written statement on the care label. Now, what are the criteria for different care treatment? So these the care instructions are also similar here: washing, drying, then bleaching, ironing, and professional textile care like dry cleaning or other informations. Now, what are the criteria how you should mention? If you mention the washing, then you have to specify whether it is machine wash or hand wash. Like in the example of the label right hand side, you can see it states machine wash cold. That means product would be washed by machine and temperature to be followed cold. If no temperature is indicated, that means if you just write machine wash, then 63 degrees Celsius shall be used. In case of drying, you have to specify whether it is a machine dry or any other method to be followed, or natural drying like tumble dry or line dry. And in case of tumble dry, we need to specify the temperature of the tumble dry, whether it is high, medium, or low. Then ironing. In case of ironing, again, you have to specify a cool iron, warm iron, or hot iron, because ironing is expected by the consumer to restore the appearance of the clothing. So, but if you do not specify ironing, it means that any ironing can be used by the consumer. That means your product has to be safe at hot ironing. And if any iron cannot be used on the product, means even cool iron can damage the product, then you have to warn consumer by putting do not iron. You cannot simply leave ironing instruction if product cannot be ironed at hot temperature. In case of bleaching, you have to specify whether no bleach or do not bleach, or only non-chlorine bleach when needed. And no bleach or do not bleach means any commercial available bleach cannot be used for this particular product because this bleach could harm or it affects on the color of the product. However, if the chlorine bleach harm the product, but non-chlorine bleach can be successfully used, which may not harm the product, then you can write only non-chlorine bleach when needed. And in case any commercial, all available commercial bleach, whether chlorine or non-chlorine, can be used, then you are not required to mention anything on the bleaching. You can just remain silent on bleaching. And then warning instruction is also required to be indicated for the consumer if any care treatment can harm the product. And warning instructions often refer to the word which is started by do not, no, only, like do not iron, do not bleach, only non-chlorine bleach when needed, wash with like colors, wash separately. So these are basically warning informations for the consumer they need to take care of while washing the product. Dry cleaning information should be indicated with the type of solvent, but if that means if any, in case any type of solvent can be successfully used, then you can just write dry clean. We have also noticed often consumer writes dry clean only on the care information or care instruction. As I have just mentioned about the warning, That only is basically an warning instruction. If you write dry clean only, it is an warning instruction, because dry clean only means that product cannot be washed. Only dry clean can be done. Product would be safe for the dry cleaning. But if your product is washable, which may not damage the product, but dry clean is also safe for the product, in that case you have to write dry clean, not dry clean only, because product is also washable. And often we have seen that professional dry clean is also indicated on the care label. Please note, professional dry clean, this term is not sufficient to be indicated on the care label, as this professional dry clean means it is as good as dry clean. But if you specify professional dry clean, then you have to specify the specific conditions for the professional dry clean, like specific solvent, let's say fluorocarbon or petroleum, or reduced moisture or short cycle. So this kind of condition need to be indicated on the professional dry clean instruction. As I have mentioned, that ASTM 548.996C version can replace the instruction in text, so this symbol can be used. So let's look into these symbols. These are a bit different as compared to the ISO care symbols. If you look at the right hand side symbols, in the top line, it is basically ISO symbol, and in the bottom line, in the second line, care symbols, this is ASTM care symbol. If you compare the do not bleach symbol, so ISO care symbol, it is a blank triangle, and ASTM, it is a solid triangle. And also there are differences in line dry. Line dry in case of ISO, just it includes a vertical line, whereas in ASTM symbol, it has a loop. So there are some differences, such symbols. So we'll talk about this as well. And temperature, indication of temperature is a bit different in case of ASTM symbol. It needs to be indicated with numeric with C, with the letter C, like 95C means 95 degrees Celsius, or 6 dot, or both can be used inside the tab. And a single bar and a double bar at the bottom, it represents permanent press or delicate washing cycle. And if no bar is there at the bottom, it represents the normal cycle. A blank triangle, it is similar like ISO standard. Blank triangle means it is any bleach can be used, and cross over the solid triangle, do not bleach. And a slanting line inside the triangle, it represents the only non-chlorine bleach. You can see non-chlorine bleach symbol at the right hand bottom picture in the black label. In drying, again, square represents the drying, and a circle inside the square represents the tumble dry, and a dot, 3 dot represents the tumble dry hot, 2 dot represents tumble dry medium, and 1 dot represents tumble dry low. And a single bar and double bar, same like washing symbol, represents the permanent press and delicate cycle. Ironing, we can use cool iron or warm iron or hot iron, which is represented with this symbol. 1 dot means 110 degrees Celsius temperature, 2 dot 150 degrees Celsius temperature, 3 dot 200 degrees Celsius. This is same as ISO care symbol. Dry clean symbol, the letter again circle are used, but here a 3 letter could be used, A, F, or P. A means any solvent can be used. P represents trichloroethylene, and F petroleum solvent only, or fluorocarbon. Now, application and placement of care label according to the regulation. Label can be placed on the garment by affixing, by stitching on the garment, or it can be directly printed on the product. Where it is not possible practically on the product to attach a label which could be which could actually reduce the usability of the garment or product, in that case information can be presented on the packaging. Label material must be permanent and it should be legible and remain permanent throughout the useful life of the product. And placement care label must be affixed in a conspicuous place. That means which should be easily accessible in the similar way like ISO standards. And the product is packaged and displayed inside the package and the care label is not accessible on the garment, then care information must be printed on the package as well or hang tag. Thank you so much for your attention. So now it is the time for taking questions. Yes, Gurdeep, over to you.
Okay, thank you for doing the presentation, Sheikh. That was very well. The first question we've got is, can you advise what temperature is classed as cold?
What temperature for cold in United States, right?
Yes.
I hope this question. I hope this question is for the United States, and because for Europe already available in the care symbol, cold normally represents the temperature 30 degrees Celsius.
Okay, thank you. And the next question we've got: in case of packed goods, do we have to put care instructions also on the packaging to be visible?
Yes, care instruction if product is packed, because wash care instruction is not accessible to the consumer. So in that case, care information need to printed on the packaging as well.
Okay. And then one more question. For the bleaching instructions for USA, can we say do not use chlorine bleach?
Do not use chlorine bleach. This terminology is not at all acceptable in United States, because United States, they want that consumer need to be specify that what kind of bleaching could be used. So if product cannot be bleached at all, then they can specify do not bleach. But if chlorine bleach cannot be used, but only non-chlorine bleach can be used. So in that case, only non-chlorine bleach when needed, this information, or this is basically a warning information, this need to be indicated on the care label. Do not use chlorine bleach cannot be used.